Okay, let's very quickly talk about some of the worst things that Quincy Jones said in these interviews.
These interviews are life. Fuck you talking about. What you mean worst things? It's nothing but best things. I want to be 85 years old. I want to get there and just see what I have to say.
Quincy Jones has apparently got a whole bunch of fancy black things coming up in Quincy Jones land. He did an interview with GQ and an interview with Vulture and said some outlandish things, including that Frank Sinatra tried to hook him up with Marilyn Monroe, but Marilyn Monroe had, quote, a chest that looked like pears, man.
Which I don't even... What? It looks like pears.
He said the motherfucker couldn't sing, talking about Elvis Presley, that he used to buy dope off of Malcolm X. Prince tried to run over Michael Jackson with a limo at a James Brown show. That Bubbles bit Rashida Jones when she was a baby.
I feel like I heard that story before.
Michael Jackson used to steal everything because he was greedy. Music.
Took everybody's music.
Yeah.
That's apparently.
Apparently he knows who assassinated JFK.
Which is his answer was a common theory.
Yeah.
Like that's been going around for a while.
Like
so
Googleable.
Right. Apparently he knows some shit about Hillary Clinton, but he did not say that out loud.
That's what I wanted.
I really wanted him to say.
Because what didn't you say, nigga?
Right. Let's not forget Richard Pryor and Marlon Brando.
We're getting there.
Oh, okay. I got a big...
He said that the Beatles were the worst musicians in the world.
He dragged them niggas.
Like,
it's so... If you haven't read these, you have to just Google Quincy Jones GQ, Quincy Jones Vulture, and read these interviews because they're life.
He called Trump a crazy motherfucker, saying limited mentally, a megalomaniac, narcissistic. I can't stand him. I used to date Ivanka, you know. Vulture.
So gross.
Wait, really? I love that it just says, wait, really? He was 72 and she would have been 24.
Yeah, I went back and added it like, were you dating? I don't think you were dating. I think y'all had a date or a meeting. But the thought of them being like in a...
He said, 12 years ago, Tommy Hilfiger, who was working with my daughter, said, Ivanka wants to have dinner with you. I said, no problem. She's a fine motherfucker. She had the most beautiful legs I ever saw in my life. Wrong father, though. So then he also says that...
It was so much, yeah. It was so much. He said, you niggas, he dragged everybody's music. He only likes maybe 6 artists. Everyone else is trash.
I did clearly enjoy his comments on Taylor Swift.
But he said he liked Bruno. He said Bruno was one of the ones doing it right. Just saying. He said it.
Okay. Okay. I'm not even saying that, like, of course. Fine. Bruno Mars is super talented. He said that Marlon Brando used to fuck anything. He said he'd fuck a mailbox.
He'd fuck a mailbox.
And then he named James Baldwin, Richard Pryor, and Marvin Gaye, saying that I guess he fucked all of them.
Right.
And apparently Richard Pryor's widow spoke to TMZ or told somebody earlier today that he did in fact sleep with Marlon Brando. And then she said something about back then with Quaaludes and stuff. What did she say?
Niggas
you
was
would
fucking
fuck
everything.
a slope box or something like that
and send it
flowers in the morning.
A radiator or something.
Yeah, she said a radiator.
Which cracked me up.
I did laugh at that as well.
But it just makes me think, wow, so 50s and 60s and I guess early to mid 70s or maybe all of the 70s, y'all niggas was just out here.
That's what I'm saying. I could really reach into a discussion on sexuality, but I won't do that with y'all today. I know you hate that.
Oh, well, I mean, I know how you feel about Richard Pryor just as a comedian, so...
I didn't feel no kind of way about that. None of that was surprising.
Right. No, I didn't. Well, I didn't think you would, but I can think of a whole bunch of aunties and uncles who are going to be in their feelings.
What? Oh, my God.
Even though Richard Pryor himself had all these jokes that maybe y'all thought was purely jokes, but they was based in truth like a lot of jokes are.
I wasn't surprised by any of the people that he named having encounters with
Especially
men
James
before.
Baldwin, what?
Maybe with one another. I was a little taken aback by that.
The thought of Marlon Brando and Richard Pryor fucking had never crossed my mind. Not ever.
I just want to know who was topping.
And I felt like it was inappropriate to ask, but deep in my spirit, I think the first time Marlon was the top. I do.
You do?
Yeah, and I think Richard Pryor went back
situation.
for second. Well, and I feel like he had to be verse, right? He was bi, or maybe he was just fucking everything.
Right?
Didn't have a sexuality.
Verse.
That's true. That is a very good point.
I mean, that's just less fun. Depending on how you feel.
Okay, well, you know what? But this is
what I'm saying is
expertise.
And niggas today have been filling my timeline with old photographs and video of Marlon Brando to remind people that he was quite a looker, I guess.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, but who didn't know that Marlon Brando was fine as fuck?
I don't know.
I can't say that if he didn't ask me to fuck, I wouldn't have done it also.
I'm like, I was waiting for you to find your way up here.
Didn't Eartha Kitt have a threesome with James Dean and who was that other fine white man Eartha Kitt had a threesome with?
I don't know what you talking about.
Oh, yes. When was this?
I just don't understand why Quincy felt like, you know what, I'm just going to let off these rounds.
Paul Newman, who was also fine when he was young.
Okay.
And James Dean. I'm like, yes, get it in.
So I'm not really sure exactly what this was about. If he just had maybe like some scotch or some Henny and was like, you know what, I'm 85.
He said he ain't drank in 2 years. He's sober and he feels 19 again. So it was the exact opposite. He got off of everything and was like, it's time to tell the truth. He was chasing
around 24-year-olds at 72.
God, that is gross. Ugh, the thought of anyway. I don't want to go there mentally, but I found the interviews to be delightful, and I am looking forward to seeing whatever he's putting out with Oprah in a couple months or whatever it is. I think that whole, older Black person, especially somebody who has been such a huge part of not just Black history, but music and has been so influential in so many ways, that person's story is almost guaranteed to be like riveting and something everybody wants to pay attention to. There's a benefit to outliving everybody else you ever knew. You get to be the old one telling all the stories.
Well, I mean, there's that. That's it this week for our Hot Tops. We're going to take a break.